Development Bank annual meeting in Nairobi has come to a close. The meeting, which brought together more than 8,000 participants from across the continent, saw Kenya commit to increase its shareholding in the continent's multilateral institution over the next 3 years by 13.2 billion. As Jimmy Mbogo now reports, the increment will be catered for by your revenues beginning with the forthcoming financial year 2024-2025.
Kenya has made the decision that over the next 3 years, we are going to invest $100 million in enhancing our shareholding in Africa Development Bank, Afri-Exim Bank, and Trade Development Bank.
This commitment by President William Ruto during the AFBD meeting has remained one of the highlights of the Nairobi meeting, coming at a time when the National Treasury, in its budget policy statement, is already projecting a 720 million shilling budget deficit in the 2024-2025 budget. According to Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, the National Treasury will align the budget to ensure that the taxpayer made the ambitious commitment, putting more pressure on revenues from Kenyans.
Once the president said we need to make a contribution, it will be budgeted. So once the government raised the revenues through taxes and even levies and fees, then that is how it is. But there's no other magic.
Professor Ndung'u has also highlighted the need for African countries to enhance their domestic revenue mobilization strategy away from taxation alone, insisting that tax increment should be optimal. He also notes that in the event of revenue shortfall, governments should turn to user fees. Further, the CS has urged African governments to take advantage of the public-private partnership arrangement when they are unable to generate the investments needed for various projects.
Most of the time we raise taxes, but we don't know at what level are we raising. Is it optimal? Actually, you find that you lose people in the market given the way it is. If you raise taxes, people just move away from the consumption of that particular product, and the market is able to create a parallel, illicit, informal products.
On his part, President Adesina reiterated the need to change the global rating system to fair price African risk, noting that the continent could save up to $75 billion in debt service costs. He has also called for the inclusion of the continent's natural resources to be factored in the pricing of the continent's risk.
We should go ahead and continue to support the re-estimation of Africa's GDP based on the proper valuation of the natural capital that Africa has, to make sure that in a green environment, Africa is not just going to be richly green or green in nature, and it is poor in terms of cash.
As the AFBD 59th annual meeting comes to an end here at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, it is the resolutions that have been made here that the governors hope will better inform financial needs for the continent. Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
And the organizing committee